Hello! In today's video, we are going to be going over the results of our Zone 2 fight versus BNR. We are also going to be discussing my plans for the Zone 3 fight that's coming up. Along with the results of our Zone 2 fight, I will tell you what content you can look forward to seeing on this channel from both the Zone 2 fight and the coming Zone 3 fight. I will tell you what my personal plans are for the Zone 3 fight as far as my account growth and account resources, and I will also do an account review or preparation for a review at the end of this video and tell you what I'm doing it for. As always, if you have any suggestions for how I can improve this content or what content you would like to see, please let me know in the comments below. As is always the goal of my videos, in this video there will be spreadsheets that are used. The links to those spreadsheets are down in the description. If you would like to make a copy, feel free to go ahead. I will explain how to do that when we get there. If you get value from those spreadsheets or this video, please do me the favor of liking the video or subscribing if you get a lot of value or are interested in the upcoming PvP content. Now without further ado, let's get into the video. At the time that I am recording this video, our level 3 pass is about to open in a little bit more than 2 hours. My goal with this video is to fully edit it, make the thumbnail and everything, and upload it before this 2-hour timer goes down, because I want a PvP. Obviously our PvP won't start immediately, but it's important to be on to help your alliance build when a new zone opens. But now let's get into the Zone 2 review. So here's an overview of the Ravona region, which is where ROG and BNR fought. BNR came through this pass, BRH came through this pass, ROG and ROV both came through this pass. ROG and ROV have successfully won this zone. We worked our way up here and around to the bridge, and when we got to the bridge is when we first started having our real PvP, because they had players teleporting over here on this fortress on the other side of the river, so that was some fun PvP. But because of BNR and BNH both having their fortifications tech max, unfortunately, they were not able to build as fast as us. So I believe that the furthest BNR got with their towers was around here, which is way less than halfway. I believe the halfway point for this map is somewhere on this plateau. And yeah, after we made it to this bridge here where we first had our fight, we were able to build these towers after a lot of PvP. And with these towers, we were able to use the bombardment to teleport these cities off of this territory, which we now have full control over, as you can see with this tower here. And this tower here. This pretty much covers this entire area. Might be space for like one city there or something, but not really. So yeah, we worked our way down here. We put up a very good effort, in my opinion, with a very strong push. Obviously, since some towers have been deleted on our side, just to save tower cost in the Zone 3 build. And then, yeah, we made contact with their towers around here, I believe. They had like 3 towers wide or something like that, because they were thinking since they can't build towards us, they might as well build perpendicular from us to make it harder for us to push through, because they would have more space for teleporting their cities. But within one afternoon we were able to push through it, and yeah, here we have our keep in this nasty choke. It's impossible to get through here with ground troops without going past the keep. And the Zone 2 fight here, BNR did a great job of protecting the spire. They built this fortress which covers the spires, so that in order to take out the spire we would have to actually take out this fortress with one of our towers over here, which is obviously something that does not make any sense to do. We could get some value potentially from pushing them back further or just taking the spire and holding it ourselves, but the value that we would get from that is not very significant. And more importantly, the value that we would get from that would not be worth all the troops that we would take negatively. Our goal is to trade positively and to have fun. Trading negatively for the sake of trading negatively with no goal is not a good idea. Now that this zone has concluded, the territory in here likely will change, since we are in a 1v2 in Zone 3. Some things could happen. I would expect BNR to at some point attempt to take this Frost Giant, just by teleporting cities up on top of the high ground here or something like that, but we'll see if they actually attempt to do that or not. It's not possible for us to fully defend this, since these towers from the bottom of the cliff are able to reach up and take it, which in my opinion is extremely poor game design, but here we are and this is how the game works, so I guess we're going to have to deal with it. Overall, I had a lot of fun fighting BNR and BRH in this zone. I would say that in my 450 or so days of playing this game, that this fight that I had against them here was the most fun I've had so far. And I am looking forward to fighting both them and IL in Zone 3. That is going to be an awesome fight, and I hope you're ready for it. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the data. This is going to be cool. So, you are familiar with this spreadsheet. I have used it in my previous video where I showcased that we were in the biggest KVK in Call of Dragons history. And since I've added some more tabs down here at the bottom. This was a fun thing here I did for a meme which I posted in the Discord server. Basically, I took 50 random players from both alliances and did a kill-heal average. But, hey, that's not what you're here for. What you're here for is this tab in the bottom called APMT. APMT is data I pull every day around reset for all of the alliances in this KVK that I deem to be significant. Some kingdoms, for example EDS, only have one alliance for their kingdom, and that's because their secondary alliance has consistently been below 1 billion power. Probably alliances like SoJu should not be on this list as they're primarily a shell, or alliances like Insidious Legion. However, I believe that it's okay to have these alliances on this list because occasionally they have been used. For example, here SoJu was used to go up to 16.2 billion power. If, for example, another alliance breaks up into a very high number of power, like 15, 16 billion, such as EDSS, I will also take that into consideration and add a new column. Here you can see that alliance probably approached 4 billion power, 3 billion power, but I decided not to add it as a separate column because immediately it went back to being very low. I do have a protocol for days that I miss, which I have adapted. I missed recording the data on the 5th of June, and then I've missed recording it on time on the 6th or the 7th of June, the 11th of June, the 12th of June, and the 16th of June. And since then, I have just written down the date and time UTC wise when I actually ended up recording the data. My goal with all of this data is to have a spreadsheet that anyone's able to use to make any sort of spreadsheet regarding the data on this KVK that they're interested in. And if you have any spreadsheets that you'd like me to make for a video, please let me know. Having this data readily available will be very helpful in making all sorts of spreadsheets so that we can better analyze what happens in this KVK. But for our Zone 2, let's go ahead and look at this tab here, ROG versus BNR Z2 summary. For our summary here, I took our stats from APMT cell Q22, and this cell here, Q22, Q22 was the approximate power when Zone 2 opened. Zone 2 opened a few hours after this. And I took the most recent entry, which is Q36, which is the data from right now, or a couple hours ago, from when Zone 3 is about to open. I did the same for BNR. I did the same for BNR, so the data was captured at the same time, so there's no discrepancies there. Here I have the kingdom totals from before and after for both ROG at Kingdom 110 and BNR Kingdom 156. Down in this chart here at the bottom, you can see that I have Kingdom 110 and 156 separated, as well as having the total alliance net gain and losses, and the individual player net gain and losses. In ROG, we lost 288 million power. That's mostly just troops in the hospital. We have obviously gained power, not lost power. And we have gained 348 million merits. In BNR, they have lost 330 million power, and they have gained 303 million merits. The average player in ROG has lost 850,000 power, and the average player in BNR has lost 842,000 power. And now for the biggest discrepancy. The average player in ROG has gained 1,030,000 merits, and the average player in BNR has gained 780,000 merits. This is a difference of 251,000 merits, and the reason why I think this is the case is because ROG has 340 members, BNR has 390 members, and most likely some number of the accounts in BRH are farm accounts. It is not possible to entirely account for these differences in farm accounts or active players, but the net gain merits of 348 million versus 303 million is quite telling, the difference there being 45.5 million more merits gained for ROG. Overall, I'd say that we as an alliance are very happy with our performance in this zone, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this spreadsheet looks like for our Zone 3 fight. I will be obviously zooming this out, and we will have Kingdom 110, Kingdom 156, and we will also have Kingdom 108 over here, which is IL, Infernal Legion. Hopefully you enjoyed this portion of the video. As always, the way to copy a spreadsheet is once you click the link, go to File, Make a Copy, select the name of your copy, and then press Name a Copy. If for some reason you need help with this or it's not working, please let me know in the comments. Or hey, you can email me too, like a bunch of people did with the first spreadsheet I put in my video. My bad, I should have explained it. My philosophy as a free-to-play player going into this Zone 3 fight is to be as beneficial and useful to my alliance as possible. If we go into my season policies, I have every single thing maxed, aside from this, which I'm about to put the last level into, and this technology here, which I will use to just start and cancel to give alliance helps. That's a cool little thing you can do if you want to juice a little bit of extra alliance silver out of this game, because it really doesn't like giving it to you. But other than that, I have every single other policy maxed, except for I'm not taking cursed swords. I'll probably take this at some point if we do behemoths, but for now there is really no need to take it. It would cause a lot more harm than good if I accidentally left this on, so not worth it. A lot of the rest of this information regarding my plans and preparation for Zone 3 I'm also going to go over in my first Zone 3 video. But another thing that I did is I went into my season talents and I reset them. I went ahead and I took resource gathering since I don't need prestige. I took the extra merit gain since I figured this would help me out with getting my 10 million merits for the season. I took cheaper resource healing, faster march speed, this skill Burning Rage, which gives me 3% more attack, and long range warfare. And now you're probably wondering, Doremi, what the hell did you do? Why didn't you take Suppressive Fire and Glory Bound and Subjugator? You're missing out on so much value. My counter argument is no, I am not. With taking Reinforced Turrets, this increases my shield health by 20%. Master Builder allows me to build a level 2 or level 1 turret at a faster speed. That way they're more effective more quickly. And Advanced Architecture allows me to build a higher level turret. It starts at level 2 instead of level 1. And the max level is increased by 1. You may be wondering if this is a good idea, and I kind of am too. My thought process behind this is that as a tier 4 player, I will get more value putting resources into turrets than other players will. So I feel like it makes sense for me to do. And if I'm going to do it, I might as well use the talents for it. Part of my season overview video at the end of this season, we'll be discussing if these turrets are worth it, and if you would get more value from taking these turret policies, or these turret season talents if you're in a defensive position, rather than taking Glory Bound, Subjugator, and Suppressive Fire. I think this is a worthwhile experiment, and I hope you're here to ride along for the ride with me and see how this goes. Unfortunately, I was not able to get top 300 and the Glory Point rankings because our Glory Point rankings did not reset in this KVK. So since I didn't fight very much last season, I was screwed and it was impossible for me, unless I found some way to gain like 400 million honor point rankings, or Glory Point rankings, which just wasn't going to happen. If I had gotten 1 point here, I believe I would have put it into the faster stamina recovery speed. But this is okay. I like where these talents are, and I'm happy with it. In order to better prepare for this awesome fight that we have ahead of us, I also went ahead and used these keys that I was planning on hoarding. I got a Kingslayer from opening up artifact keys, which is somewhat unfortunate since I've never used cavalry. My cavalry attack is level 2 and my cavalry defense is level 0. So I'm definitely not a cavalry player, but I mean if I have to use cavalry for some reason, I guess now I have a level 3 Kingslayer. I didn't get much value from the gold keys, aside from I believe I did get 10 Velen sculptures. something like that. One thing we can do here is we can go ahead and we can actually upgrade Tohar's skill once. This guy only requires 6 tokens. Let's go ahead and do this, and hopefully we landed on this skill. Okay, we still got it on the other useful skill, so that's nice. 2% less counterattack damage taken, and 5% more defense. Not bad. Another thing that we did is we continued working on our Shadow Phaedrake. Our Shadow Phaedrake now has a 2-star Magic Fortune, which set me back 9,000 pet currency, and we are getting very close to building a 3-star talent. This will be awesome. Let's go ahead and take a look at what that 3-star talent will do once we build it. If we go to Skill Upgrade, and we scroll down, instead of having a 9.5% debuff, it'll have a 15.8% debuff. This is pretty awesome. Currently, we have 3 2-star talent skills. We also have a pet with a 0-star talent skill. And then if we go into our bag, we have 4 1-star talent skills. So currently we need to catch either 4 0-star talents and get them off the pet, or we catch 1 1-star talent and get that. And then we will sacrifice this 3-star skill to hopefully get a 2-star talent skill, and then with that we will be able to upgrade it to a 3-star skill. Expect a video on that if it ends up happening. It'll be pretty awesome. Another important thing to do before you go into this intensive a PvP situation is to track the amount of things you have on your account, so you know what you're actually able to do or not. As you can see from my policies, I have 456,000 daily elixir production, and I have capacity for 4.4 million daily resource healing. If we go and take a look at my resources, I have quite a few saved up, over 1 billion of each, and I put this information all into a spreadsheet, which we can go ahead and take a look at now. As always, if you are interested in having a copy of this spreadsheet, I will have one down in the description, which has slightly less tabs on it, but that's because this is a work in progress that I haven't exactly finished. This is also a copy of someone else's spreadsheet, so I have not yet personalized it for myself, so that's why it is very bare bones. I did reach out to the author of this spreadsheet for the ability to credit them more appropriately, since I literally do not know their name currently, but they have not yet gotten back to me, and it's been over a month. As you can see, I currently have 1.16 billion gold, I have 1.27 billion wood, 1.1 billion stone, and 841 million mana. I'm definitely slacking on that mana. As a member of Kingdom 110, I am prepared to completely zero my resources, although I would not like to. I think that it is very high value to defend your kingdom and to work towards getting your kingdom into the final zone. So this is a small price to pay, and I will also have farm accounts in the next season. By the way, look forward to a video on farm accounts relatively soon. In total with these resources, I believe I should be able to resource heal something around 30, 40, 50 million troops, but we'll see exactly what that looks like. If we go back into Call of Dragons, and we take a look at my villages, you can see that I currently have 14. I did actually lose one. I wonder which one I lost, but that's okay. I have negative 3% on the gold cost, negative 7.5 on the ore cost, negative 2% on the wood cost, and negative 10% on the mana cost. This is pretty awesome and will help me significantly in reducing the cost of healing my units. Unfortunately, I do have the Reprieve talent instead of the Diligence talent, but I did the math, and in order to reset my talents to get the Diligence talent, instead it would cost me 25,000 gems, which is definitely not worth it. I wish there was a way to specifically change this policy, maybe for 1,000 or 2,000 gems, but to get this policy would cost me 25,000 gems, and there is simply no way that I would do that. I am not a Kraken, I am a lowly free-to-play player. One thing that you may have noticed along with this data here on the amount of resources that I currently have is that I'm also tracking the amount of speed-ups that I have. Along with the amount of speed-ups that I have, I'm also tracking the amount of treaties and arrows that I have, as this is a very important thing to keep track of as a free-to-play player, and I'm interested in knowing how many I can actually gain while in a very intensive PvP situation. And along with treaties and arrows, I'm also going to be tracking this information here, which is just the information that's readily available on your profile, and I will be doing a comparison to this later. And the way I'm going to do this comparison is to simply just copy this, paste it down here, and then I can also just delete the data in the cells, like so, do this, then control this, and then press backspace, and I'll be able to input my new data, and then I can even do a third copy of this over here, and with this copy, oops, and with this copy, I guess we'll put it over here. Wow, I keep messing this up. Don't do these things live. And with this copy, I can do like some subtraction, and I can figure out what the difference is for all of these stats at the end of this KVK. I feel like now at the end of Zone 2 is a good time to take this data pull instead of at the beginning of the KVK, as I'm more in tune with what I'm going to be doing this season, and my trade ratios should change substantially from what they were at the start of this season. I hope that you got value from this video, and that you were looking forward to this fight as much as I am. I'm sorry that there was no PvP content in this video, but once I have a plan for what type of content I want to upload when it comes to PvP, I will link those videos in the end screen. But for now, enjoy these two videos, one that's recommended to you by YouTube for some reason, I don't know what they're doing over there, and whatever my most recent one is. Thanks for watching, have a great rest of your day.